So here's 20 things that we don't want to see in GTA 6, plus there's one bonus one at the end. Before we get into today's video, if you do enjoy at any point during this video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It helps massively. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers, so any likes, comments, subscriptions, anything, all massively helps. Number 1, futuristic vehicles like the Mark II Oppressor. We do not want this in GTA 6. It completely breaks immersion in the game, and often vehicles like this are locked behind paywalls, especially when you first get a game. If you are going to introduce these vehicles into GTA Online for GTA 6, please make sure it's a separate mode or a separate game mode where people can choose whether to accept them into the lobby or not. 2. Don't make the game always online. A lot of games developers now are currently building their story modes into the online component of the game. Now this isn't necessarily a massive issue for a lot of games out there, but for GTA 6 where there's so much emphasis on the story and that's where we build our relationship with the game, we don't want that to become a crucial part in us playing online and playing the game at all. Please make sure that the GTA 6 story isn't online. 3. Don't always give us the same vehicle choices. Vehicles over time have changed and the car scene as a whole has changed over the past 10 years. We don't want to be in a position where we've got hypercars, supercars, family SUVs, and that's it. There are more vehicles out there now, more car communities that are based on different things, such as lifted trucks, ATVs, and what we've seen from the trailer, it looks like you have listened to this one, but just saying it in this video, make sure that there are a more diverse range of vehicles. And bring us cool little Japanese icons like Miatas and stuff like that. We want that. Well, I want that anyway. 4. We want realism, but not restrictive realism. For example, if you are going to implement a fuel mechanic into the game, make sure the vehicle doesn't run out of fuel all of the time. Make it so we can get from one side of the map to the other without having to refuel our vehicle, or make sure that if we do have to refuel during a mission, it still makes the mission completable and enjoyable. I think there's a fine line between realism and immersion to just being annoying. And I've mentioned this in previous videos. In Red Dead Redemption 2, you know, your horse's health going down and their cores going down and trying to figure out which potion does what to revive your horse is a bit annoying. I think with the fuel mechanic it would be a lot easier. But just saying, make sure it doesn't break the fun. There's a fine line between immersion and just having some fun. 5. We don't want a stupid police system. From what we've seen so far from the leaks we had back in 2022, the police system is going to be a lot more intelligent than it was in previous games, and including Red Dead Redemption 2. We want to make sure that the police respond to the environment around them correctly. For example, in GTA, if an NPC punches you and you punch them back, the police start shooting at you. It doesn't make any sense. Actually, that's kind of realistic, isn't it? Number 6. Don't give us interesting buildings that can't be entered. Now recently when playing Red Dead Redemption 2, I went into St. Denis, however it's said, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but there's some really cool looking buildings that you can't enter, and a lot of the buildings within that town aren't actually enterable. So if you're gonna give us really cool looking and immersive buildings, at least allow us to look inside them, never mind go inside them, but just make sure that you have some sort of parallax effects or something going on so they feel more engaging and more realistic, but preferably let us enter them. 7. Change the vehicle handling. Now the vehicle handling in GTA 4 was a little bit too realistic and heavy. So for example, every time you turned it felt like the vehicle was going to roll over. In GTA 5 it was way too arcade like. Give us a nice balance between GTA 4 and GTA 5 and make it feel realistic. Don't keep the same system that you used in GTA 5. 8. Give us more customization with online characters. Allow us to really customize our online characters and make it look like however we want our character to look like. At the moment, the main customization options for our online characters are masks and other things like that. Allow us to really personalize our online characters. Number 9 is don't give us a linear story. Every single GTA game to date has been go to this icon on the map, start mission, go to this location, complete mission. It's been way too linear. Allow some sense of turmoil, allow some sense of things going wrong, allow us to dictate how the missions are carried out. Now I understand that me saying this versus you implementing it are two very different things. They're very complicated things to implement in a game, but please break away from this linear story. The 3 endings we got in GTA 5 were really cool, but I think that we can create more forks in the road along the story to allow multiple different endings and also to give players some sense of replaying the game. For example, in GTA 5, the only real thing you could do is replay the 3 possible endings. What we'd like to see is something early in the game, that a decision you make early in the game could completely fork off the story in a different direction, so the next time you play the game, you can make a different decision and pretty much play a completely different game. Of course, it makes things very extensive and very complicated, but you've had 10 years to make the game. Number 10, we don't want everything to stay the same. Make buildings evolve and change over the time. Construction projects complete over time. Trees grow and people change. Well, that sounded really motivational. Cyberboy motivational channel coming soon. Red Dead Redemption 2 did it, and they did it very well, and it was very cleanly implemented. So please make sure that this is a feature we see in GTA 6. Number 11, don't confuse lore with gimmicks. The aliens in GTA 5 were implemented very well. It was kind of an Easter egg slash fun little side game. But in GTA 6, if we have an engaging love story between Jason and Lucia where loads of things can go wrong and potentially trust is something that's broken, and it's a really deeply engaging story, you don't want to be engaged and involved in that story and the next minute be fighting aliens or zombies. It feels like it takes some immersion away from the game. I mean, feel free to add an online zombie apocalypse mode because that would be awesome as a fun little side thing that's totally separate to the story of the game, but take into mind the context of the game when implementing Easter eggs like this. But with that being said, that brings us on to point number 12. Don't make everything too serious. In GTA 5, we had some iconic moments from Lamar, Trevor, and some other characters that surrounded the main protagonists. Make sure we still have that tongue-in-cheek rockstar humor in the game, albeit it doesn't have to necessarily come from Jason and Lucia, but the characters around them, make sure we have some fun, lovable, and funny characters around them. We still want some of that stupid Rockstar Games humor. Number 13, we don't want to have our hands being held through every single mission. Like I mentioned earlier with the linear gameplay of the story where all the objectives are to go here, do this, do that, and when we have missions there's options like loud and dumb and smart and quiet. We don't want that. We want to have a more diverse gameplay. For example, if we have to rob a house like in Red Dead Redemption 2, give us options of how we can rob that house. Do we go through the back? Is there 5 different entrances to the property? Make the outcomes of the mission a bit more varied and a bit more interesting for us to play, because being told exactly what we have to do in which way we have to do it means that every single person has the exact same experience playing the game, which for one makes really bad content. I'm saying this as a YouTuber, but secondly it gives people no reason to replay the game. Number 14, we don't want bad hand-to-hand combat. In GTA 4 we had some insanely good hand-to-hand combat. In GTA 5 I don't know what was going on, but it was awful. In Red Dead Redemption 2 you really stepped up a notch and it felt really realistic, but in GTA 6 we want that plus some. We want it to feel a little bit more engaging and realistic. Number 15, not everything needs to be about heists. We don't want every single payout we get in the game to be from robbing a bank, robbing a store, robbing a shop. Allow different methods of us generating wealth and income throughout the game that extend beyond heists. Now in GTA Online it's gone from everything from unbelievable missions to working with the government, like it's turning into the Fast and Furious franchise. Allow everything to be a bit more realistic and a bit more rooted in reality. Of course, robbing some chocolate from the shops is really boring, so let's not do that, but let's have different ways of generating income, whether it be from selling or buying vehicles, whether it be from owning vehicle dealerships like we had in GTA Vice City. Allow us to diversify our income portfolio in the game, so there's many different ways we can make money other than robbing people, but still keep robbing people because it's really fun. 16, we don't want a boring soundtrack. Now this is something that I've discussed in other videos. The way that we consume music now isn't just through the radio. That being said, in the GTA games the radio stations are absolutely hilarious, so we do want them, but allow us to have a form of streaming service in the game so we can select what songs we want to listen to whilst doing a mission, whilst driving around, whilst doing our daily activities within the game. Allow us to be more in control of our audio experience, and potentially even allow us to have headphones in the game, so while we're doing rampages around Vice City we can listen to some music that we enjoy rather than to have an emulator in the background playing music or just playing music off another device. Allow us to make it a little bit more immersive. That being said, I'm a YouTuber so I can't actually play any of the songs in my videos, so during my videos I won't be showing any of the music because of course demonetization, copyright strikes, etc. But when I'm playing offline I at least want to be able to do that. Number 17, we don't want boring guns, but we also don't want futuristic guns. I don't want to be deeply engaged in a heist or a robbery or a mission with Jason and Lucia and all of a sudden we've got laser guns and rail guns and stuff like that. I want realistic weapons and a realistic immersive gameplay, but also make it a bit more engaging. The gun dynamics in Red Dead Redemption 2 and the ability to customize our guns and make our guns feel more personal to our character was a very welcomed addition, so give us something similar in GTA GTA 6 where we have a bigger variety of guns and more things that we can do with them. Number 18, we don't want crossplay. Well, we do, but we don't want it to always be on. If someone's playing on a console, they might not want to play with someone on a PC for obvious reasons. There's definitely a power imbalance between games console players and PC players, so allow us to have lobbies with Xbox and PlayStations and PCs, but also give us the ability to choose whether we're in those lobbies or not. Number 19, we don't want loading screens to enter our garages or safe houses. It completely breaks immersion. We'd like to be able to just walk through the door. Now, of course, in online, this creates a problem if there's only like 30 safe houses in the whole map and multiple people have the same safe house. Of course, that breaks immersion. That can quite easily be combated with, for example, when you walk through the first door, the other person maybe despawns or something like that happens. But please stop with the loading screens. It's annoying, it breaks immersion, and it just makes it feel like you're bouncing from one minigame to another minigame. Number 20, don't make GTA 6 a subscription game. And if it is a subscription service, please don't lock everything behind paywalls. Make sure that everything that people can pay for can still be achievable in the game by just doing missions. I am guilty of this. When I was about 18 years old, I paid to get one of the big ships in the game, one of the big super yachts in the game, and a lot of my friends weren't able to enjoy that experience because they didn't want to spend the money to get that, and neither should they want to spend the money to get that. I was very silly and I was very bad with money back then. God, I feel sick even when buying a tank of fuel now. But don't lock everything behind paywalls. Allow everyone to have a fair playing experience no matter how much money they have. And bonus point, don't ignore the community. Give us an online platform or a contact point where we can submit suggestions, or maybe do polls on Twitter, or give us a way to input our ideas back into the game. If millions of people want a feature in GTA 6, allow us to vote on that, allow us to make those decisions. The populations of GTA players pretty much account for the populations of countries. There's that many people playing the game, so allow it to run a bit like a democracy. Allow things to get voted in and voted out, because if you make the game more enjoyable to the most amount of people, you'll sell more copies, you'll make more money, and that's basic maths. So thank you all for watching today's video. I would love to hear your suggestions down below. If you did enjoy the video, please make sure to subscribe, and if you want to become a channel member, click the button down below to join, and you get some additional perks as well. All my links are down below, from merch to Instagram to Discord, everything's down below. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.